A bus crash in Camden County sends more than a dozen children to the hospital. We'll update this breaking story we've been covering for you tonight. Well, the answer is right under your feet. For one thing, these areas are already connected to vital city services like sewers. Jefferson City Police pulled over a man who then fled the scene of the traffic stop. Also breaking at this hour, Boonville Police told us not even an hour ago that a man killed himself on I-70 after threatening to rape an employee at a Boonville gas station. There's no way to store any excess energy created by these wind turbines, and if the wind were to ever stop blowing, then you'd have to find your power somewhere else. Let's come on in and take a look at some of these people, what they're headed in for. A whole bunch of different doorbuster deals. What are you looking for today? Some Jefferson City residents got the solar energy sales pitch today. This section of College Avenue basically becomes a giant crosswalk about a quarter-mile long whenever class is in session. It takes a lot of work to put on an event like this, as you can imagine. You can start with just the stages right here. You probably don't want to be right now. Frankly, the roads are still pretty slick.
A massive winter storm will deliver heavy snow and destructive ice.
Today was a day forecasters told us all to put off our morning walks. But Ming the dog doesn't really pay attention to the weather reports.
Yeah, he likes it outside, believe me, he does.
Even today?
Yep.
Despite inches of snow on the sidewalks.
What'd you feed him, some kind of people food?
But on the day when four-wheel drive becomes a necessity,
I used to pull people out of ditches in storms like this.
Doug Martin's four-wheel drive of sorts becomes a problem.
If it's flat, I'm fine. Yeah. But if I'm coming uphill,
it'll just slip and slide.
Yep.
A former electric company worker, Martin used to work overtime on days like today.
We had fun. Mm-hmm.
But now in his chair, Martin feels a little snowbound sometimes.
Sometimes not. Now, if I was able to walk, get up and walk, I wouldn't worry about it.
The City of Columbia says residents are encouraged to clean these several inches of snow off of their sidewalks, but there is no enforcement mechanism in place to make them do so.
Actually, where the snow is, it's not too bad.
But snowy walks aren't a problem for Larry Mueller.
I could sit at home and watch TV, but it's not that bad out. I'm just walking, get a little exercise. I like it.
Because even if we are going through a blizzard,
I could drop dead on a perfect day, you know.
Kyle Stokes, KOMU 8 News, Columbia.
I had 3 outfits, all traveling.
Carol Livingston's moved before.
Needed something comfortable to sit in.
14 times in 8 years, and she's never had a move as tough as this one.
I'm a trusting person that wouldn't think someone would do this to another human being, especially 7 months pregnant with a 20-month-old in tow.
Livingston hired Van Lines of America to move her belongings from Fort Myers, Florida for $2,600.
After they were done loading, said it's not going to be $2,600, it's going to be $8,300.
And until she pays, the moving company is keeping all of her belongings at its warehouse in Miami. The moving company says the price is right because Livingston overpacked.
If you take 3 times your inventory, your price is going to go up 3 times. Just like if you have somebody come out to clean your carpets and you ask them to come out and clean 1 rug in your place, and then you tell them, you know what, clean all my rugs, your price is going to go up. It's a different service.
Wright says Livingston signed off on the higher amount, but she says she signed off on a paper where they put the numbers in later.
Shame on you. Shame on you. Do you have a mother? Do you have a daughter? Do you have a sister? You've turned my life upside down. You've destroyed my hope in humanity. But I'm strong and I will fight.
Kyle Stokes, KOMU 8 News, Columbia.
Oh, he was supposed to meet you?
If there's something in Slater that needs to get done,
I have a few it didn't work with.
you're best to have Barbara Aikman on your side instead of knocking on your door.
I don't hound them.
In full fundraising mode.
I didn't have any problem getting any money out of them.
Aikman and her husband J.I. have been pivotal in an effort to give a shot in the arm to primary health care right in town.
We just hate to go to doctor somewhere else. In fact, Barbara and I just won't hardly go.
But sometimes those trips are absolutely necessary because J.I. has macular degeneration in one eye.
Once every 6 weeks we have to go to Columbia, where his doctor is, who gives him shots in his eyes. And that's a trip I just dread.
12 miles from the nearest hospital in Marshall, Slater's only pharmacist says distance often prevents patients from getting the primary care they need.
12 miles, I don't know if you're in the city, 12 miles is not a long distance, but just to access it 12 miles away is a lot for some people. It's not local, it's not accessible right there, you know, and then if it would, I think they would utilize it.
Making the prescription for rural care part pills and doctors and part brick and mortar. Call these the building blocks of better health. Thanks in part to the Aikmans' financial support and fundraising, a new rural health clinic will open this winter in Slater, boosting the availability of primary care from 2 days a week to 5, with 6 exam rooms, even an X-ray machine. Slater residents hope they can find the key to better health inside these walls. After all, state figures show rural Saline County's risks of high blood pressure and high cholesterol are the highest of any county in Missouri, and the county's obesity rating is the 3rd highest in the state. Why?
The smaller the communities, the more challenges they have in getting health care, whether it's primary care or specialty care.
Ron Ott runs Fitzgibbon Hospital, which will staff the Slater Clinic, providing full-time services where before they were only available part-time.
They're much more accessible because they're in their community rather than having to drive 20 or 30 miles to a larger town that had primary care physicians and nurses.
Barbara Aikman insists she doesn't like the attention.
I never was one who liked to go around and ask people for money. This has been easy for some reason. I guess it's because I really believe in it.
Because they believe they can leave a legacy of better health in their hometown. Kyle Stokes, KOMU 8 News, Slater.